Hello everyone, today we're gonna talk about the Iranun culture and everything about it, its origins, its history, its culture. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's first start on the Iranun history and its origins. On early part of 1464, Sharif Kabungsuan arrived in Malabang and married Princess Agintabu's daughter, Varaha in Malabang, and got Makaalang, the first Iranun dato who ruled the Maguindanao Sultanate on 1543 and 1574. Let's proceed. Next slide. Now, the town of Malabang is the main seat of Iranun tribe on the shore of Iliana Bay, a mixture of Iranun, Iranaon, and the difference between them is that the Philippine census distinguishes them between Maranao and Iranun. For those who are living on the shore of Iliana Bay, they are called Iranun, and for those living above or near the Lanao del Sur, Lanao Lake, they are called Maranao. All indication is there are one tribe in one language. The distinction, if any, lies in the fact that people living near the lake, Lanao, are called Maranao, while those living south of the lake near Malabang on the shore of Iliana Bay are called Ilianun or Iranun. Now, the oral tradition of Iranun community narrates the history and origin of the Iranun people. The word Iranun comes from two words, Ira, which means silted, and Naun, which means people. As you can see from the picture, that is the Elanoan or Iranun pirate that was first drawn to represent the pirates or the people or the seafarers in Iranun. And we'll talk about this more and dive more on the following slides as to why they're called pirates. There are another information. Ira means residue, remains, or silt. It could also refer to a place or area or the culture. And Anun means the people therein with distinct culture, laws, and beliefs. Now, the Ilianun, called Iranun or Ilianon as well, are closely related culturally and linguistically to the Maranao and Maguindanaon. The Ilianun language is part of the Austronesian family that is most closely related to Maranao. When the Spaniards left, however, contact between the Maranao and the Ilianun decreased. Now, the majority of Ilianun live along the coastline of the towns of Nulingi, Parang, Matanog, and Barera in Maguindanao Province, Mindanao, along the Iliana Bay coast, north of the mouth of the Pulangi River, all the way to Zamboanga Bay and Zamboanga del Sur, and even the western coastal plain of Borneo. Ilianun is a Malay term meaning pirate. It is appropriate for the people of this ethnic group who were once regarded as the fiercest pirates in the Malay area. Now, let me correct this term. While they are known for being a pirate, but there's a quote that, or there's a saying that says, history is written by the victor. Now, the term pirate is controversial because these people, or the Iranun people, could have been just defending their livelihood or a part of their livelihood, like fishing, trading, or even defending their territorial seas. They could have been just defending that, and calling them pirates is quite unfair. So let's proceed to the next slide. The Iranuns, like the Magindanaon, were fairly well known to the outside world during the Spanish occupation of Las Islas Filipinas, comprising Luzon, Visayas, and northern parts of Mindanao. The Iranun ethno-linguistic population is mostly situated in southern Philippines. The ancient Iranun established their villages and communities along the seacoast of the Iranun Bay, the Moro Gulf, or also known as the Iliana Bay. The Turugan has a Birar Tower or tower in the modern time as watch house or guardhouse. Let's proceed to the next slide. Following in the notion that Iranuns were regarded as pirates, in Malay history, the Iranun are known as the Vikings of Asia. According to Warren in his study in 1987, for several centuries, the Mindanao-Sulu-Palawan region has been characterized by piracy. According to James Warren, this was mainly because the entire ethnic group is specialized in state-sanctioned maritime raiding. Iranun and with Balangingi tribe attacking Southeast Asian coastal settlements and trading vessels sailing for the fabled Spice Islands or for Singapore and even Batavia. Now, there could be pirates or there could be Iranun pirates as well, but not all of them are pirates. The Iranun people, not all of them are pirates. There are some pirates, but it is unfair to label them all as pirates. So just like in the Philippines, where Filipino people, there are some criminals, there are some pirates, it is the same with the Iranun people, and it is unfair to call them all as pirates. So let's proceed to the next slide. This is called Dalanong, and this is what the Iranun pirates used to attack maritime vessels in the Southeast Asian seas. Also, I'll be showing you, here is a map of the Sultanate of Maguindanao. Pointing out, Iliana Bay is right there, the one at the center, where most of the land area is belonging to the Sultanate of Maguindanao, and Iranun is covered in that Sultanate of Maguindanao. Now, let's cover the population of the Iranun. The Ilanun, Iranun, Ilianun, Ilanum, Hilanones, Ilianos are a group related to the Maranao and the Maguindanao. The people, who are marine-oriented, are historically known for their sea exploits. Spanish pressures forced the Ilanun inland and forced them to the sanctuary of Lake Lanao area, from which they shifted their operations. Now, the Iranun people, they are marine-oriented and they are known for sea exploits. The arrival of the Spanish, who has a very, very large armada or navy, that it forced the Iranun inland towards Lake Lanao, and this is also could be a part of why the culture between the Maranao and the Iranun and the Maguindanao are very similar, especially when it comes to the language. But that is what happened when the Spanish pressured them, when the armada of the Spanish came and pressured them inward toward Lake Lanao. Now let's proceed to the next slide. The area became so important that the Spaniards tended to think that the Ilanun are from Lanao del Sur. Now, because of the pressure of the Iranun, and eventually the Iranun again went inland, and because of that, Spaniards thought that the Iranuns are from Lanao del Sur. Now, more on that. The withdrawal of the Spaniards led to the lessening of contact between the Maranao and the Iranun. Now, I think the cause of this, after the withdrawal of the Spaniards from the sea, I think the Iranun went back to the coast and proceeded with their livelihood there. And because of that, contact between the Maranao, who are in Lake Lanao, the contact between the Maranao people and the Iranun people became less. Now, at present, the culture is generally similar to the Maranao of Lanao del Sur, with a subsistence pattern based on intensive wet cultivation, rice, long-distance marine trading, and fishing. Let's proceed to the next slide. The population. Here are the population, the number of Muslim tribes in the Philippines, and this was taken by the Philippine Statistics Authority on the year 2020. census of population, and housing. As you can see here, the Maguindanao tribe leads with a number of population of 2,021,099, while the Iranun has a population of 33,454, ranking the 5th in all of the Muslim tribes in the Philippines. But this could be inaccurate, as this census was taken in 2020 and currently it's now 2025, and yet there needs to be another census by the Philippine Statistics Authority to update the current numbers. Now let's proceed to the Iranun religion. What is their religion? Now, the primary religion practiced by the Iranun is the Sunni Islam, the largest branch of Islam. Sunni Muslims follow the teachings of the Quran and consider the 4 caliphs to be the rightful successor of Muhammad. Sunni Islam, the largest branch of Islam, Muslims follow the teachings of the Quran. The word Sunni in Arabic means one who follows the traditions of the Prophet. Now, the Iranun are Muslim, and common to all Muslim groups is the performance of the 5 pillars of Islam. Let's proceed now to the next. Iranun culture and practices. Their system of education. The ancient Iranun system of education was very simple. There was no school building and other materials. They used their individual houses as school building and classrooms. The father was the teacher of the boy children, and for the girl children, ancient Iranun taught their girl children on motherhood responsibilities and obligations. Now, for the system of education, it was very simple. You can compare this to homeschooling, where the father teaches the boy children their responsibilities, or what the man is, what the job of a man is in the family or in the community, and it is the same for the girls. The mother teaches the girls on what their responsibilities are, what do they need to do in a community, and what do they do when they eventually get married. Now let's proceed to the next slide. Their source of living and livelihood. The ancient Iranun were good farmers and fishermen. They were living in the fertile, vast land and sea. Ancient Iranun were good blacksmith and goldsmith. For women, Iranun were good weaver of mats and malong. Therefore, their medium of exchange in the absence of money was bartering in order to acquire property or anything for them to survive. Now, bartering is a part of the Iranun culture and practices, or in one of their livelihood as well, is to barter. Now, they live in vast land and vast sea. As I mentioned before, the Iranuns were very good seafarers and fishermen. They have a lot. They're living in the coast, and for the source of livelihood, they barter for what they have with other tribes at the time, at least in the prehistoric era. Let's proceed now to the next slide. Foods. The first food we have right here is damak. It is a cooked sweet food delivered to the house of the bride from the groom's house. Now, this is usually presented during weddings, and unfortunately, I don't have the picture of damak, but let us proceed now to the next food of the Iranun culture. We have dodol, which is made from sticky rice flour, coconut milk, and sugar. Here is the picture on the side. Next slide. We have tinagtag. This is made of ground rice and sugar mixed with a little bit of water. Now you can see it on the right side as well. It looks like the ones you put on paper, the design. It is very interesting, and I did not taste these foods before, or I've never seen them before. Next food is the putri mandi. This means a princess shower cake. This traditional cake is steamed glutinous rice balls served with santan or coconut milk. again, you can see it on the right side. Another food we have is the kumukonsi. It is a traditional Filipino deep-fried donut originating from the Maguindanao people. It is made from rice flour, duck eggs, and sugar. Now, while it did originate from Maguindanao people, Iranun people also absorbed them because the sites of the tribe, the location of the tribes are very near, and they could share culture between one another. Now let's proceed now to the next slide, which is costumes and dresses. Now, ancient Iranun man were using samping vernacular for bahag and sablay or saliko in modern time, and tubaw. However, ancient Iranun were shoeless. For the women, ancient Iranun were using loose blouses in their primitive style. Now, let's proceed now to the next, which is the music. Darangan as a song was the most popular name or title of a song during the Darangan period. Darangan as a title of a song described the entire civilization. It is also known as Darangan epic, where it described the story of an entire civilization. Now, the man and woman knew very well to perform or sing darang. Darangan as a song was usually sang at night. We also have another song called Bayok. Bayok was another name of a song which usually performed by 2 or 3 performers. The Meranao sometimes called it Kambayoka. The performers were called Unur. Next slide. We also have the Mamayog. It was another name of a song performed by 1 gentleman and 1 lady. The Mamayog described the loyalty and courteousness of a husband to his wife during the ancient Iranun or the Darangan period. Now let's proceed. Some Iranun folks identified another song entitled Darangin Ababay, most beloved and adored lady, was commonly sang or performed in the Slangan Principality. Princess Tinabon was the star was being described in the song. Now, how about the musical instruments? Let's see what their musical instruments are. Now, the kolintang, agong, gandingan, pamindira, and dibakan or dabakan were usually commonly used as musical instruments. It was called in the Iranun as lima a mamagyan supa, lima kadragya in Ranao. These musical instruments were usually used during feast day or duragna or the wedding ceremony. During ancient time, lima ka mamagyan supa was used also during rituals. Now, these are the images of the musical instruments. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a picture of the pamindira. I wasn't able to find it in the internet, but here are the 4. We have the kulintang, diagong, kadingan, and dibakan or dabakan. Let's proceed now to the next. We also have the kudyapi, palindag, suling, kubing. It was among the musical instruments during the ancient time in the Iranun civilization. Now let's proceed to the next slide. Now generally, all the person who reached the maturity stage of human development or adulthood knew to use and play these instruments. Now, Sagayan was a stage play which usually performed by young men describing the skill and bravery of the Iranun warriors. Minors can also participate in the Sagayan. Sagayan was a stage play that was usually played on ceremonies. Now, how about their festivals and holidays? Iranuns joined the Kadaiwan Festival in Davao City. According to the website of National Commission for Culture and the Arts, NCCA, Iranun is among the 11 ethnic Muslim groups. The Iranun tribe is recognized as the 11th tribe in Davao City. The Dayao Festival celebrates traditional cultures and heritage in line with the National Indigenous Peoples Month. Food Festival inside the RAM or the BARM compound in Cotabato City. Now, the Iranuns joined the Kadayawan Festival in Davao City according to National Commission for Culture and the Arts. Now, another holiday for them is the Idul Fitr or the Ramadan or the 30 days Puasa. We also have the Idil Adha where Muslims went to Mecca to perform Hajj, or pilgrims, taubats, to repent all their sins. Now, another part of the culture is the burial practices. Janaza, taking bath of the dead person. Once the body has been bathed, it is then wrapped in one-piece shroud called kafan, mostly in white in color because it signifies simplicity. Janaza prayer, a series of prayers for the forgiveness of the dead, is then performed in a mosque. Funeral prayers are traditionally conducted by the imam. You can see here on the picture what janaza is, and on the piece of cloth they are wrapped with is the kafan, and you can see the kafan right there. It is the color white. And now that concludes my presentation, and I hope you learned a lot with the Iranun culture and their beliefs and their source of livelihood and their origins. And if you want to know my source and references, here are my references and the sources that I took from. And thank you so much for listening. My name is Sarel J. Sejani. Goodbye.